time-traveling soul creates China's basketball GOAT. Please like, share and subscribe. Episode 41, Summer League. After lunch the next day, Wang Zhelin's phone finally rang. Uncle Zhou, how's the contract negotiation going? Wang Zhelin couldn't wait to get on the phone. This is about his great money career. The contract has been basically finalized. If nothing else, you will be wearing the Blazers jersey for the next 4 years. As for the rookie contract, they are willing to offer a 3+1 contract with a salary of $3.04 million in the first year, $3.15 million in the second year, $3.3 million in the third year, $4.15 million in the fourth year, and the last year is the team option, of course. Now, there are still many incentive clauses waiting for you to activate. By the way, about Lillard's specific salary, although I have not thoroughly inquired about it, but according to the words of the Blazers general manager Alzi, the salary error between the two of you should not exceed $1 million. Okay, hard work Uncle Zhou. If you have no opinion on this contract, find a time to report to the Blazers as soon as possible, and we will officially sign the contract. No problem, Uncle Zhou, I will join you in Portland with my parents in the afternoon. Okay, then I'll wait for you here. Although Wang Zhelin has seen enough contracts in China, and even he is now a multimillionaire, but this time is different. Born into an ordinary family, he can't help it. Licked his tongue. And that doesn't include off-market earnings. Zhelin, is there any news? When Wang Shanghai received Wang Zhelin's smirk on the phone, he was basically sure that it was good news. Well, the contract has been signed for 4 years and the total salary is about $15 million. Dad. Mom. It won't be long before your son becomes a millionaire, maybe even a billionaire. After hanging up the phone, Wang Zhelin couldn't wait to share the news with his parents behind him. Millionaire. Billionaire. This astronomical figure instantly stunned Wang Shanghai and his wife. Although they all know that playing in the NBA can make money, they never imagined that. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Wang Zhelin landed in Portland again. Familiar places, familiar people. Only this time, the protagonist became Wang Zhelin. King. I said long ago that you are destined to be from Portland. You are welcome to join our big family. When Orsi saw Wang Zhelin come in, he was very excited and shook hands with a smile on his face. I'm also very happy to see you again, Mr. Alzi. It's an honor to play for the Blazers. Wang Zhelin was also moved by the deep sincerity of the Trailblazers. At this moment, the inexplicable fear in his heart for this torn city gradually decreased a lot. King, I promise you, you will be the main core of this team, and you will be the starting center in the new season. I will definitely not let you down. Wang Zhelin also showed his loyalty appropriately. Finally, in the office of Blazers general manager Nel Alzi, Wang Zhelin signed his first contract in the NBA. A number 36 jersey with black as the main color and red and white as the auxiliary color was officially unveiled to the world. After signing the contract, in the following days, Wang Zhelin participated in a series of promotional photo shoots and various activities of the Trailblazers. He was busy until July 7th, when Wang Zhelin came to Rose Garden Arena for the first time to participate in the team's run-in training. Most of the players who came to training this time are rookies and substitutes, and the main purpose of this training is to welcome the upcoming Summer League. Wow, our number 8 show is here. King looks really tall. Look at the pair of unicorn arms. It is indeed the best bench press performance among rookies in recent years. Our first opponent in the Summer League is the Hornets, where the new champion Anthony Davis belongs. It must be interesting at that time. Whether it is a bench player or a rookie player, they have already seen Wang Zhelin's strength early. They are very clear that Wang Zhelin will be the starting center of the Blazers this season. Therefore, the legendary provocative protagonist and other dramas did not happen. The height of 2.16 meters is not a cover. Wang Zhelin standing on the court is enough to make everyone daunted. The tallest handsome boy in the world. Looking at the unfamiliar faces around him, Wang Zhelin smiled slightly. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I hope to have a pleasant cooperation in the future. Although he is very aware that many of these guys may not have any interaction in this life after the Summer League, this does not prevent him from respecting these people in front of him. Again, although they seem insignificant in the NBA, in the world, they are definitely one of the hundreds of people who can play basketball best. If it weren't for their dreams, or their pursuit of the highest basketball hall in the NBA, they could have gone to other places to make a living. In their hearts, it is estimated that they have always firmly believed, there is still a dream, what if it is realized? Every dream chaser is respectable, and Wang Zhelin does not discriminate against them because of his own strength. It's the first time we meet, this is a little bit of my care, please don't refuse. Before he came to the team to report, he had made Zhou Yang ready to show his teammates the gift of meeting. Oh, it's Gerda's latest Alice earphones, worth 558 meters. It seems that some of these people are headphone enthusiasts, and Wang Zhelin praised his assists with tears. King, this is too precious. We just met for the first time, isn't that bad? Seeing that everyone's attention has been attracted, Wang Zhelin continued to explain, that's it, I will go to London in a few days to have a run-in with our country's men's basketball team, so the next summer league I only play 2 games, and the last 3 games are up to everyone. These little gifts are even to make up for the regret that I can't fight with everyone to the end. In the end, all the gifts were given out. Wang Zhelin clearly felt that the attitude of his teammates towards him was quite enthusiastic, and there was no alienation from when he first arrived. Not to mention, Fat Tiger's move really works, and he is worthy of being hailed as the NBA champion with the highest emotional intelligence after James. Wang Zhelin has won the recognition of old and new players since he first arrived, and even vaguely has a gesture of treating him as the team leader. This made Lillard on the side look envious. Although he is relatively cold, it does not mean that he does not want to be warmly received by everyone. Obviously I came first. Long time no see Damien, you should have come a lot earlier than me, you've worked hard enough. Seeing Lillard Pessel watching all this, Wang Zhelin quickly stepped forward and greeted him very easily. Dude, you are welcome. Lillard, who reacted, also responded enthusiastically. For the strong, he never stings his smile. You should have been practicing with them for a while, how do you feel? Wang Zhelin put his arms around Lillard's shoulders and asked Lillard's opinion on his current teammates. Their strength should be okay, but no one can bring me enough pressure, which makes me very dissatisfied. Lillard glanced at the people around him indifferently, and said indifferently. Big brother, you don't even look at how strong you are, why do you expect these substitutes to bring you pressure? Facing Lillard's disdainful expression of that's all about the NBA, Wang Zhelin couldn't help but twitch at the corner of his mouth. Episode 42, First Battle Champion, Run, Run. Hurry up, hurry up. Who, what about you? Why did you soften in just a few minutes? Inside the Rose Garden Arena, David Vanderpool, the acting Summer League coach, was shouting loudly. After the warm-up exercise before the game, the players have been divided into 2 teams, red and blue, for a simulated confrontation. Wang Zhelin and Lillard, who were told early on that they were the starters of the regular season, were naturally placed in the first team in order to cultivate their tacit understanding. Lillard, a senior who has played in the NCAA for 3 years, naturally knows how to organize tactics and unite his teammates. Basically, as long as Wang Zhelin stands in a good position, he can receive the basketball smoothly. Facing the defense of the unnamed player who was lower than him, Wang Zhelin used his strength to push him away and made a layup easily. Wang Zhelin and Lillard accumulated a palm. Pretty. Good job. King's power is really terrifying. Although the blue team was composed of the team's 2 rotation players and marginal players last year, facing the red team with Wang Zhelin and Lillard, they were completely penetrated from the inside and outside. In the next round, after Wang Zhelin stepped forward to cover, he ran 45 degrees along the bottom line from the right to the bottom corner on the left, successfully getting rid of the entanglement of the red team's inside line. Lillard's passing skills and game reading ability are by no means comparable to those of his teammates in the CBA period. Basketball once again passed to Wang Zhelin. Faced with such a large open three-pointer, Wang Zhelin took off without hesitation. Shoo! With his hands up and down, he made a three-pointer. His current three-point ability has a full 62 points, which has reached the average level of the NBA, and he can barely afford a pitcher. Seeing this scene, David Vanderpool nodded very satisfied. Unexpectedly, Wang Zhelin retained such a delicate touch while possessing such powerful strength. Incredible. After a 15-minute confrontation, the red team led by Wang and Li led the blue team by a full 23 points. King, it's hard to imagine that a big man like you can have such a silky shot. Lillard looked at this teammate with surprise and affirmation in his eyes. It seems that he must have practiced the basic skills hard in private. Talent is one thing, hard work is another. Ha ha ha, you are also very good. You can always seize the most opportune moment to hand the ball to me. Wang Zhelin smiled and said a sincere compliment. No inside player can resist this kind of strategy of being a baker. Speaking of which, this is the first time he has been fed so well. Lillard's passing is the best way to describe Lillard's passing. The feeling of eating cake is really good, he doesn't want to work anymore. The two looked at each other and smiled, everything was silent. Soon, the 2012 Summer League arrived. There are 2 venues, Orlando Summer League and Las Vegas Summer League. The former has 8 teams participating, while the latter has as many as 24. The Summer League starts on July 15th, and the Blazers' schedule is as follows: 07-15 Hornets vs Trailblazers, 07-17 Trailblazers vs Rockets, 07-19 Trailblazers vs Eagles. There are 5 games in total, starting from the 15th and ending on the 22nd. Now that the men's basketball team of the Chinese national team has finished the first 4 warm-up matches, only the game against Poland on the 21st is left. Wang Zhelin didn't want to miss that meaningful game, so he chose to fly to Europe that night after playing the first 2 Summer League games. In the first game of the Summer League, the Trailblazers' opponent was the Hornets, where the new top pick Anthony Davis was. For a game of this level in the Summer League, the media and players don't pay much attention to it. The only thing to watch in this game may be the siege of the new champion vs the 6th and 8th picks. However, the top management of the Blazers has a very high focus on the game. This is their first game to sign Wang Zhelin and Lillard, and this game just happened to see their abilities. Hey guys, this is your first game in the NBA, you have to play well, especially King and Damian, don't be nervous, just play at your own level, the Hornets on the opposite side can't be. Is our opponent. In the Blazers locker room, after acting coach David Vanderpool laid out his tactics, he began to encourage the 2 potential newcomers to fight against each other. Damian, we must win the first game, and we must win it completely. Nungmei is the future #1 power forward in the league, and Wang Zhelin has positioned himself as the #1 center in the future. He is fully prepared for the first battle between the future top 4 and the future top 5. Well, don't worry, the Hornets can't protect me from the outside, I'll blow them up. Hello everyone, viewers, welcome to the 2012-13 NBA Summer League. The 2 sides are the home team New Orleans Hornets and the visiting team Portland Trail Blazers. Everyone must know the highlights of this game. My country's young player Wang Zhelin has been determined to be a center in this game. He will become the 6th Chinese player to land in the NBA. A domestic online live broadcast platform is broadcasting the match simultaneously, and the commentator is excitedly introducing the situation of the 2 teams. Pharaoh, hold up your camera. Zhelin is about to enter the court. I want to take all the wonderful shots of his first game in the NBA. Okay. Wang Changhai and his wife were sitting in the VIP seats of the stadium, watching their son's first game up close. Although this game is a summer league, it can be seen from the grand occasion that this game is of great significance. For the New Orleans native, this game is Anthony Davis's career debut, and they will naturally not miss it. As for Wang Zhelin, he is a player from the Chinese dynasty, and it can be said that he is the focus wherever he goes. The arena provided by the Las Vegas Summer League is not as big as the Rose Garden, and it can only accommodate more than 4,000 spectators. This just happened to make Wang Zhelin, who was used to the Zuchong Gymnasium in China, not feel any nervousness in his heart. Name, Anthony Davis. Team, New Orleans Bobcats. Age, 19. Position, power forward. Height, 208 centimeters. Weight, 98 kilograms. Body hidden attributes. Lower body strength, 74. Upper body strength, 76. Speed, 81. Power, 74. Agility, 75. Bounce, 91. Defensive ability. External defense, 65. Internal defense, 80. Rebounds, 75. Blocks, 78. Steals, 68. Overall rating, 77. Starter. In his rookie season, the thick eyebrows were able to get 13.5 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks. Although he was completely defeated by Li Gui when he was running for the Rookie of the Year, this did not mean that he was weak. On the contrary, the thick eyebrows in his rookie season have already shown a very strong defense, and he has contributed a career-high 8 blocks twice in a row in a single season, and he has become the defensive gate of the Hornets as soon as he debuted. To put it bluntly, Nungmei is too young right now, and it is unfortunate that he is on the same side of the West, and has the advantage of mentoring such an older rookie who is infinitely close to maturity, which makes him completely lost the hope of competing for the best rookie. Fortunately, through the previous Devil training, Wang Zhelin's comprehensive rating has broken through to 75. Although it is still 2 points lower than Nungmei, after all, everyone belongs to the same starter level, and the gap is not that big. Rookie Nungmei's strength lies in defense, while Wang Zhelin's current strength lies in offense. This match can be said to be a battle of spear and shield. Episode 43, 1 vs 6 + 8. The New Orleans Hornets will officially announce that they will be renamed the New Orleans Pelicans in January next year. The team's current strongest player should be shooting guard Eli, who was acquired in a trade with the Clippers last year. G. Gordon. In the trade at the end of 2011, the Hornets traded Chris Paul for Gordon, Kuman, Aminu, and a 2012 first-round pick from the Clippers. It is worth mentioning that when Gordon represented the Hornets for the first time in the game, in the last 4.2 seconds of the game, he helped the team to quasi-kill the Suns 85-84, which can also be said to have left a record of his own in the NBA. However, this quasi-lore is a bit similar to McGrady's 35 seconds and 13 minutes, which sacrificed his career with a moment of brilliance. In none of Gordon's 4 seasons with the Pelicans, he played the full regular season, he was constantly injured, and his attendance rate was over 50%. Described in 2 words, poisonous. Back to the upcoming game. The Hornets sent a starting lineup of Austin Rivers, Graves Vasquez, Aminu, Anthony Davis, and Robin Lopez. The strongest among the starting 5 is Anthony Davis, who just debuted. During the warm-up, Wang Zhelin's eyes focused on Anthony Davis. At this time, his thick eyebrows were as thin as ribs, and his body was a bit like Durant in his rookie season. However, the arm span is a bit exaggerated. The ancient's hands over the knees is probably like this. Davis found that someone was paying attention to him, and when he looked back at Wang Zhelin, he subconsciously showed a shy smile. Ha ha ha. It's okay if Davis doesn't laugh. When he smiles, his eyebrows are really happy, just like the long braids of a female classmate in junior high school, and he can't help but want to put them on put fire. With a smile in return, Wang Zhelin continued his warm-up. Beep beep beep. With the referee's whistle, the Hornets game against the Trailblazers officially started tonight. Sure enough, the Hornets sent the talented Davis to replace the center for the jump ball in the midfield. On the Blazers side, it was naturally Wang Zhelin who came for the jump ball. Davis has much better bounce and speed than Wang Zhelin, but he still won the opening ball for the Blazers by virtue of his height and arm length. He actually predicted my prediction? Davis, who had basically never lost a jump ball in the NCAA, looked at Wang Zhelin, who had a quicker reaction, with a bit of astonishment. Rebounding is something that relies on one's body and one's experience. Comparing the two, experience is more important. Otherwise, it is impossible for Big Bug to still hold the league's rebounding champion at the age of 37. He has a monopoly on rebounding. Lillard pushed forward quickly, and his teammates quickly settled down. Wang Zhelin's opponent is Robin Lopez, the younger brother of the famous Lopez brothers in the NBA. Although Xiao Luo is not as good as his all-star brother in the NBA, he is barely able to serve as a starting center in a weak team. In the first 4 years of his career, Xiao Luo can only be regarded as a substitute for the team. He has scored about 5+3 data all year round. In addition, this is his first year with the Hornets. Naturally, he will inevitably be arranged to participate in the summer. The league strengthens the running in of the team. No one would have imagined that this former substitute character will officially enter his peak period from this season, and the data in all aspects has doubled compared to his previous seasons. This season, Xiao Luo will play the entire regular season and start all the games, and can get 10 points and 6 rebounds. The system gives him a rating of 72, which is also the closest opponent Wang Zhelin has encountered in the same position. Wang Zhelin and Xiao Luo collided a few times and knew that his strength was as shown by the system. Although he had reached the passing level of the NBA inside line, he was still far from himself. In addition to the height difference, he was sure to beat the opponent. Ball. After getting stuck, Wang Zhelin reached out for the ball. Lillard's passing awareness is not overshadowed. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw the opportunity to pass the ball over. To deal with Xiao Luo, Wang Zhelin turned around and pushed his opponent behind him, stretched out his long arms, and easily dunked. 2 points into the account. Pretty. David Vanderpool shouted excitedly at Wang Zhelin. When Harris, the acting coach of the Hornets, saw this scene, he felt bad in his heart. The opponent number 36 scored too easily, and now we will see if anyone in his own team can stand up and respond. He subconsciously set his eyes on the big boy wearing the number 23 jersey with thick eyebrows and big eyes. Soon, Anthony Davis told the world why he was the number 1 pick. Standing in the low position, he reached out his hand to reach the basketball smoothly. Facing Hickson, who is 2.05 meters tall, Davis directly chose to make a breakthrough. Snapped. Snapped. Davis made a high-speed dribble under his crotch and immediately feinted to the left. After Hickson's body was driven, it was about another quick turn, which directly wiped the defender, and then went to the basket one stop, ignoring the defense of Wang Zhelin, who came to make up the defense, and scored a straight back hook. It was so fast that I couldn't react at all. The height of 2.08 meters, the speed of the defender and the delicate handwork made Davis ask for help in the interior. Looking at Davis's scud legs, Wang Zhelin was full of envy. One thing to say, the fundamental reason why Davis can become the best defensive player-level defensive gate in future generations, and can truly achieve from 1 defense to 5, is his strong running and jumping ability. In addition to the attributes of the glass man, Davis, who is familiar with the rhythm of the NBA game, has almost no weaknesses. After a brief absence, Wang Zhelin quickly recovered himself. Compared with Davis's strengths, he also knew what his strengths were. You have speed, I have strength. Let's see who can survive to the end. The number 1 pick and the number 8 show have already shown their faces, so naturally it is time for the number 6 show to perform. Lillard, who took the pass from Wang Zhelin, suddenly drove straight to the front court. Oops. Davis, who had just returned to the half-court defense, obviously felt bad. Yu read www.yuukaongshu.com chased from behind with 2 scuds. Is this guy really a 6'10" big man? The speed is too fast. Feeling a bad wind coming from behind, Lillard glanced at random and found that it was the new champion Davis, who was overpowering the pack. But well Seeing that the two were getting closer and closer, Lillard suddenly switched gears again, giving Davis a look of exhaustion behind him. With a speed of 94, he has been able to rank in the first gear among the current point guards in the league. Except for a few people, no one can match the speed of Lillard. After entering the three-point line, Lillard took 3 steps directly, and his entire body instantly vacated at a position 2 steps away from the free throw line. Boom. A rather elegant one-arm gliding split buckle. Damn, it's really annoying that it can be covered just a little bit. I must get my face back in the next ball. Davis, who failed to chase and defend, picked up the ball with his head sullen and came off the court to serve. The Hornets attacked again, this time it was Davis, who used the pick and roll to dribble into the penalty area. After seeing Wang Zhelin moving across, he didn't have any intention of slowing down, so he rushed over directly. Does this mean being positive? If you want to fight, then stand. Wang Zhelin stably calculated the distance between the two, and after the two gradually drew closer, he suddenly bent his knees and took off. Judging from past experience, Davis's space for shots has been completely covered by him, and the hot pot feast is about to be staged. And then, pfft. Wang Zhelin clearly felt that his waving right hand didn't touch anything, that is to say. He felt lonely. Episode 44, the group owner of the empty chopping. It turned out that Davis used a frontal change to avoid Wang Zhelin's block just before Mars hit the earth, and easily picked the basket to score. From a 10-inch long person's body direction change 6 times, it's just too weird. When everyone around saw this scene, they couldn't help looking at each other. Another Kevin Durant? It's really the series of actions that Davis just made. It really resembles the current superstar of the league, Kevin Durant. But Davis didn't care so much. After scoring the goal, he raised his arms and roared excitedly at the Blazers players. The eyebrows, which were originally very happy, also turned extremely ferocious at this moment. Wow, our number 1 pick responded to the Blazers' offense in a row. Look at these 2 beautiful goals. He has already explained to the world why he is number 1 pick and not someone else. AD. Under the background of the on-site commentator, more and more fans began to shout Davis's nickname. This guy has something. Wang Zhelin, who personally felt Davis's flexible style of play, was still more than surprised. Then we'll hit him with nothing. Lillard replied with a cold expression. Next, Wang Zhelin and Lee instructed them to play pick-and-roll tactics, one of the classic NBA playstyles. Pick-and-roll, as the name suggests, means pick-and-roll in basketball tactics, which refers to a tactical scoring skill in which a player acts as a screen to help his teammates break through to score. This is one of the best offensive methods in the basketball world, but it is not easy to achieve the essence. The most well-known is naturally the pick-and-roll cooperation between Malone and Stockton in the Utah Swangsha era, and the combination of Wang Zhelin and Lillard, both of whom have shooting, passing and excellent singles in their respective positions. The ability is very similar to the former Utah Swangsha. The most important thing is that they are all team players with the ultimate goal of winning. These factors also meet the needs of the one-in one-out pick-and-roll strategy. Although it has only been over a week of pick-and-roll training, Wang Zhelin and Lee have already established a pretty good tacit understanding. The game continued. Lillard advanced to the front court with the ball. Wang Zhelin left his position and came to a high position for their first pick-and-roll of the game. Wang Zhelin successfully blocked Austin Rivers, who was following Lillard's ass. Lillard was overjoyed. When he was about to cut to the basket, Davis stepped forward to block his breakthrough route. Also a superstar from the NCAA, Davis naturally has some understanding of Lillard. The shot after the pick-and-roll and the three-point shot are the opponent's common routines. Don't think it's so easy to score, I've seen through you. Lillard failed to get a breakthrough opportunity, but he was not in a hurry. He saw his right hand holding the basketball above his head, and he passed the ball behind his head with a whoosh. Inside? No. Yes, outside. Wang Zhelin stood one step ahead of the three-point line and was ready to catch the ball early. At this time, Wang Zhelin was completely in the open position. After steadily receiving Lillard's pass, he took a deep breath, then raised the ball above his head, bent his wrist, and shot quickly. The first three-point shot in actual combat feels good. I got it. Boom. Swish. Put the board into the basket. His position was completely beyond Lopez's expectations. Isn't the center supposed to make a big hit at the basket and run out to shoot? The number 36 on the opposite side actually still has the ability to shoot. This is a big picture. Facing the surprised eyes of the Hornets players and coaching staff, Wang Zhelin sighed with his right palm, and then made a gesture to the opponent. Just kidding, you all formed an encirclement on the inside, why should I just barge in? Robin, that guy can shoot, pay more attention. The Hornets coach reminded Lopez Jr. I see. Little Lopez replied, but she didn't have much confidence in her heart. A big center who can be both inside and out is still relatively rare in the current NBA. This kind of player is too difficult to guard. The Hornets' offense was left to Davis to handle, but this time his offense failed. After Hickson was unable to guard Davis, in the next round, Wang Zhelin decided to divert some of his attention. When Davis successfully broke through again, he blocked his attacking path. Seeing that something was wrong, Davis decisively chose to transfer the ball out, only to be intercepted by Lillard, who responded well in the middle of the road. Lillard was not greedy for credit, and a long pass handed the ball to Will Barton, who was running at the front. Will Barton is a swingman who is known for scoring and was also selected by the team in this year's draft. It's just that he was the 10th pick in the second round, and he is far less valued than Lillard and Wang Zhelin. Will Barton is slender and has poor confrontation, but his athletic ability is quite good, and his starting speed is also great. The training ground dunker seized the rare opportunity to perform, and after receiving the pass, he shook a big windmill against the Hornets' empty basket. The basketball hall in Las Vegas ushered in another burst of exclamations. The refreshing effect is not bad. Paul, King and Damian's pick-and-roll cooperation has achieved initial results. It seems that our number 1 pick is about to usher in the first game of his NBA journey. Inside a gorgeous box, Blazers general manager Alzi and team owner Paul Allen were watching the game. After these few rounds of competition, Alzi can basically conclude that the opposing Hornets cannot be the opponent of his own team. Victory is at hand. King and Damian performed really well, and I hope they can continue this kind of victory in the regular season. It's just a mere summer league. If it weren't for the fact that there are 3 high-profile hot rookies in this game, Paul Allen would be too lazy to come. Haha, I believe they won't disappoint the fans. The game continues, but our champion and the Hornets led by him are doomed to tragedy today. 2 fists are invincible to 4 hands. It is the thick eyebrows of this game. Anthony Davis, who scored 33 points, 15 rebounds and 4 blocks, has convinced everyone present. This young man is indeed gifted. But the Hornets still lost. And lost a full 13 points. Lillard, who was unstoppable on the outside, scored a team-high 26 points and 9 assists, and almost got 25 plus 10. Wang Zhelin, who made his NBA debut, made 9 hits and 14 shots. He efficiently scored 18 points and 12 rebounds without free throws and three-pointers, and almost achieved 20 plus 10. Although this is only a summer league, it is enough to prove that he definitely has the first-level strength among the rookies of the same class. He, Wang Zhelin, is no worse than his peers in the United States. This made the domestic media very proud, and immediately after the game, they carried out a lot of coverage. It is worth mentioning that 5 of Lillard's 9 assists directly benefited him, and the tacit understanding between the two is evident. In today's battle, the Trailblazers and Gemini scored 44 points together, making Zhuang Yuanlang's 30 plus 15 large pair return with hatred. Looking at the thick eyebrows with frustration on the face of losing the game, Wang Zhelin almost couldn't help but want to go up and make a cut. Brother, you have just been online for the first day, the leader of the empty chopping group, the days to come are long. In the end, looking at the pair of very happy eyebrows, Wang Zhelin still stepped on the brakes. Episode 45, joined Poland. 2 days later, the Trailblazers ushered in the second opponent of the Summer League. Houston Mosaics. The Mosaic team is currently in the process of rebuilding. In this year's draft, they did not find any good seeds. At least none of the inside players can bring pressure to Wang Zhelin. Teammates all know that this is the last game of Wang Zhelin's rookie season in the Summer League, and he will go to the national team to gather after the game. Therefore, in this game, David Vanderpool not only gave Wang Zhelin the right to arbitrarily allocate his playing time, but his teammates were also actively playing the ball for him. After all, the previous gift was not for nothing. At this time of day, the right place, the people and the 3 forces to bless you, today is doomed to usher in a massacre. In the second game of his career, Wang Zhelin made 28 crazy shots, 15 of 22 pointers, 1 of 8 three-pointers, and 4 free throws. He scored a career-high 37 points and 11 rebounds. Plus 2 caps. He made 8 three-pointers alone. You can imagine how high Wang Zhelin played in this game. It's just that the 148 hit rate is a bit embarrassing, but overall it's harmless. Lillard, the second biggest beneficiary of the game, scored 15 points and 18 assists, which is also a career high. In this game, Wang Zhelin played for nearly 40 minutes in total, and it is fortunate that this is the Summer League, and the intensity of confrontation is not as high as that of the regular season, otherwise his 68 physical fitness will not be able to last. Through this battle with all his strength, Wang Zhelin probably also knows his physical limit. In the NBA regular season, if he still exerts his full strength as he does today, he may only last for about 2.5 quarters. Physical insufficiency has become his primary problem now. Originally, the physical fitness attribute inherited from McGee was only 64 points, but it took him nearly 2 months to get 68 points. In this fast-growing developmental period, only 2 months of training resulted in a 4-point growth. Sure enough, hard work can only be used as an aid, and kryptonite is king. Wang Zhelin turned his attention to the number of fans who have not moved for several months, and now there are more than 7 million. In the end, he decided to wait a little longer, and wait until 10 million to play a big one. Starting from the 18th, the Celestial men's basketball team will start their Olympic journey. Their first stop will be Poland, where the Celestial men's basketball team will play the last 2 warm-up matches before the London Olympics. Olympic opening ceremony. The 2 warm-up games officially given by the Polish Basketball Association are at 5 p.m. local time on the 21st and 3:30 p.m. on the 22nd, so Wang Zhelin still has enough time to ease the troubles caused by the jet lag. In the Olympic warm-up rankings announced by FIBA, the Celestial men's basketball team has a record of 3 wins and 3 losses, just over 50%. But compared to the previous Olympic warm-up games, this one is undoubtedly the one with the lowest quality. Why do you say that? Because there is a new change this year. FIBA cancelled the Diamond Cup. The Diamond Cup is a pre-Olympic event. In the past, the requirement was that all Olympic teams should participate. Once in Sydney, Athens, and the Kyoto Olympics 44 years ago, the Celestial men's basketball team participated in the Diamond Cup, where all the main teams played. But after the Diamond Tournament was cancelled this year, the Chinese men's basketball team basically sent out youth teams in the competition against Russia, Serbia, and the Kangaroo Country, and the level of confrontation was not comparable to that of the Olympic Games. Let's just say that the so-called American star team that the media madly advocated at first. Most of the members of that team were players who couldn't even play in the NBA Development League. What is there to be proud of in winning against such an opponent? This warm-up match was undoubtedly a failure for the Celestial men's basketball team. The ancients all knew that knowing oneself and knowing the enemy can lead to 100 battles. But this time, the Chinese men's basketball team couldn't even figure out the strength of their opponents. It is no wonder that they suffered 5 consecutive kneels in this Olympics, creating a humiliation unseen in 20 years. At 3 p.m. on July 18th, Wang Zhelin and his parents came to Poland, which is located in the middle of Europe, and successfully reported to the men's basketball training center. "King, you're finally here, you know that I'm waiting for you and the flowers are almost gone." Deng Huada, the white fat man, showed enthusiasm when he saw Wang Zhelin finally came to report. "Don't do this, Lao Deng, the influence is very bad." Wang Zhelin pushed Huada Deng directly into Yao Ming's arms. "Use the fat man to defeat the fat man." I haven't seen him for a while, but Yao Ming's weight is increasing at a speed that is visible to the naked eye. Now he has lost the physique of the athlete period, and his whole person is about to evolve into the later female zodiac sign. After the brief reception was over, the first thing after the report was a physical examination. It's not a physical examination, it's about the player's health. Of course, these are not important. Everyone knows that this kind of thing is just a passing scene. The most important thing is the press conference at 10:30 on the second day. Announced that Wang Zhelin officially returned to the national team. At the press conference, Wang Zhelin, the 8th overall pick of the NBA this year, announced his return, which can be regarded as a major reinforcement for the national team. The main people present this time are Wang Zhelin and team leader Yao Ming, as well as men's basketball coach Deng Huada. However, the reporters here are much cuter than those in the United States. The questions they ask are kind, and they know that you are good to me and everyone is good to everyone. Something will happen. By the time the press conference was over, 2 hours had passed. When Wang Zhelin, Yao Ming and the others returned to the men's basketball training center, they just happened to catch up with lunchtime and went directly to the restaurant of the arena. My dear, this meal is almost in time for the New Year's Eve dinner, right? There are fish, meat and lobster. But is it really good to eat like this? Looking at Sun Dashing, who was nibbling on a big chicken leg, Wang Zhelin fell into deep thought. I remember when we were training in China, the diet was still very strict. Why did we come here? Seemingly seeing Wang Zhelin's shock, Chairman Yao patted him on the shoulder. The people above are always advocating something. You must not suffer athletes before the game, you know. Well, this is probably the so-called needs of national conditions, I understand. Wang Zhelin shook his head and asked Tom Bruce, the trainer who followed him wherever he went, to prepare lunch. However, this time, the more he eats his lunch, the more he feels like chewing wax. Looking at the teammates around Hushi Haisai, Wang Zhelin was so smug when he first came to Poland, as if he was worthless. Can his arrival really bring about any changes to the men's team in front of him? In the next London Olympics, the men's basketball team will lose 132 points in 5 games and 5 defeats. Especially the core Yao Ming, his retirement directly caused the Tianqiao men's basketball team to completely lose a superstar who could compete with the world's top teams. It also made the men's basketball generals who were accustomed to the team's tactical play built around Yao Ming suddenly became unable to play. To be honest, in the years after Yao Ming suddenly retired, the performance of the men's basketball team in international competitions was really appalling, and Wang Zhelin didn't know if he could make a difference in the upcoming London Olympics. He is still too young, and he doesn't have the dominance of Yao Ming in 2008. What he can do now is to roll up his sleeves and work hard, as far as he can go. Oh, it's hard to do. Zhelin, why are you eating here alone? Suddenly, a low-pitched Mandarin with a Cantonese accent came from behind. Episode 46, The Worst Era, The Best Yi Jianlian. Brother Alian. Roughly. Wang Zhelin looked up and saw that the people who came were Yi Jianlian and Wang Zhizhi. What's the matter, do you feel a little out of place? After Wang Zhizhi sat down, he raised the chicken breast in his hand. What? Wang Zhelin suddenly discovered that Yi Jianlian and Wang Zhizhi's plates were not the big fish and meat that Sun Yu and others were enjoying, but a nutritious meal that was almost the same as his own. It's good to get used to it. That's how they are. That guy and Deo couldn't change anything back then. We just do our best to be ourselves. Wang Zhizhi shook his head and smiled helplessly. Yi Jianlian kept his head down and kept his attention on the vegetable salad in front of him. As Wang Zhizhi said, he has long been used to this kind of situation. Looking at Wang Zhizhi and Yi Jianlian in front of him, Wang Zhelin finally knew, my way is not alone. Fortunately, and you guys can make my persistence seem meaningful. On July 21st, the Chinese men's basketball team will play the first match against Poland. Wang Zhelin, who returned from the United States, naturally took the starting center position without hesitation. The strongest player in the Polish men's basketball team is undoubtedly the white center Marcin Gobert, who averaged 15 points, 10 rebounds and 1.5 blocks per game for the Phoenix Suns last season. It is the Polish hammer in the mouth of the fan. As a second-round 27th pick in the NBA, Gobert can have the status he is today, and the hard work behind him can be imagined. But there is a good saying, his hero, my enemy. Not to mention anything else, just the different positions of the two countries are enough for Wang Zhelin to do his best to win this victory. With a rating of 77, it's really a good opponent. Through the system space, Wang Zhelin quickly learned about Gobert's strength and technical characteristics. The advantages are excellent movement, good at pick and roll and empty cut, with mid-range shooting ability, and good offensive ability. The shortcomings are also obvious. His physical fitness is a hard injury, otherwise he would not be able to fall to the middle of the gear before being selected. This is a big man who relies on technology to eat, and his focus is on offense rather than defense. Wang Zhelin has full confidence to rely on his body to eat the opponent. The starting lineup of the Celestial men's basketball team in this game, Wang Zhelin, Yi Jianlian, Zhu Fengyu, Wang Shipeng, Chen Jianghua. This lineup can already be regarded as the strongest five-man team in the current Chinese men's basketball team. Among them, Lu Wei and Zhu Fengyu have been veterans of the national team for nearly 10 years, and this trip to London will also be their last Olympics for their country. As for Chen Jianghua, this London Olympics trip can be called his peak performance, and it is also his last afterglow. Fortunately, Wang Zhelin also discovered something unexpected. The host starts the national team career. Due to the different FIBA rules, the ability will be re-rated. The international scores are as follows. Name, Wang Zhelin. Affiliated team, Tianqiao National Men's Basketball Team / NBA Portland Trail Blazers. Age, 18. Position, center. Height, 216 centimeters. Weight, 130 kilograms. Overall rating, 84. Wang Zhelin really did not expect that the rating in the international arena is 9 points higher than that under NBA rules, ranging from 75 to 84, which is almost 2 levels. Many abilities have been improved. The long shot has changed from 62 to 68. Internal defense changed from 68 to 80. The cap has changed from 58 to 70. The rebounding ability rose the most exaggerated, from 65 to 85 directly. The sudden surge in strength made him more confident to deal with the opponents in the next Olympic Games. After reading his new score under the FIBA rules, Wang Zhelin took a look at the other teammates of the national team. Wang Zhizhi, score 75. Wang Shipeng, score 69. Chen Jianghua, score 68. Zhu Fengyu, score 67. Lu Wei, score 66. Ding Jinhui, score 65. Sun Yu, rated 62. All the players of the Celestial men's basketball team scored more than 60 in international competitions, and those with the highest scores were the best players in the London Olympics. The one with the lowest score was the former son of Heaven's arrogant Sun Yu. But recalling Sun Yu's performance in the 2012 Olympics, Wang Zhelin was relieved. Injuries and lack of self-discipline are gone forever. And what surprised him the most was Yi Jianlian's comprehensive score. Name: Yi Jianlian. Affiliated team: Tianqiao men's basketball national team. Age: 28. Position: power forward/center. Height: 213 centimeters. Weight: 114 kilograms. Relay: 75 layup, 90. Mid-range: 80 long-range, 67. Dunks: 82. External defense: 45. Internal defense: 62. Rebounds: 90. Blocks: 64. Overall rating: 88. Talent skills can only be awakened in the international arena. Terminator, silver. The movement is less prone to deformation when making a layup or dunk, which can offset 10% of the hit rate interference caused by physical contact with the opposing player. Marksman, silver. After receiving a pass from a teammate, the ease of shooting will be reduced by 5% within 3 seconds. Just kidding. When he saw this, Wang Zhelin couldn't believe what he saw in front of him. Yi Jianlian's ability under the international rules was as high as 88, and he also came with 2 innate skills. Yu reading www.yuyukaongshu.com is the lowest silver level though. Especially the first Terminator skill, it's simply an insider skill, how good it is for me. But when he thought about it carefully, he inexplicably felt that the rating of 88 might be too low. When Yi Jianlian played in the CBA, he averaged 20 plus 10 per game all the year round. But when playing in international competitions, Yi Jianlian still often averages 20 plus 10 per game. In the final analysis, it is the international arena that can best test a player's ability. One thing to say, Yi Jianlian's stats in the international arena are definitely superstars. Even if Yao Ming comes, he may not dare to say that he has surpassed him in stats. In the first 2 years of the World Championships, Yi Jianlian handed over the data of 20 points and 10 rebounds per game. He not only won the rebounding king, but also successfully selected the best team. At the same time, he was also the first person to get this kind of data in the World Championship. Chinese player. In this year's London Olympics, in the match against Spain, Yi Jianlian played his strongest battle in the international arena. 30 points plus 12 rebounds. It was still cut off the heads of the big and small Gasol brothers and Ibaka, the league's top interior defender. In the post-Yao Ming era, Yi Jianlian is the Tianqiao men's basketball team's most stable three-pointer, most stable defensive gate, most stable mid-range shooter, and most stable inside attack point in the international arena. He is the starting point of all tactics. Also the end point. I remember someone in later generations once said, "Fortunately, we still have Yi Jianlian, unfortunately we only have Yi Jianlian." For Wang Zhelin, he was unfortunate enough to come to the worst era of the men's basketball team, but he was very fortunate to meet the best Yi Jianlian. Episode 47. Check in to the Olympic Village. At the beginning of the warm-up game, the center of the two teams came to the center circle to jump the ball. Unsurprisingly, Wang Zhelin pressed the Polish hammer and won the opening ball for the Chinese men's basketball team. Lu Wei received the ball and quickly dribbled it to the audience. Here. Wang Shipeng ran out of the empty seat and opened his hand for the ball. Lu Wei didn't think much about it, he just passed the pass directly, and the latter cut off the shot after catching the ball. Backboard, Before Zhu Fengyu could finish his words, he was stunned by the terrifying scene in front of him. Wang Zhelin had already realized that Wang Shipeng had a high probability of missing this shot, so he made preparations for rebounding in advance. I can't stand it? The Polish hammer beside him tried to knock Wang Zhelin away with his own body, but the latter stood there like a mountain, motionless. If it's so easy to be pushed away by you, that guy Mahone will definitely jump over from the United States to kill me on the spot. The corner of Wang Zhelin's mouth raised slightly, and at the moment when the basketball bounced on the hoop, he saw the opportunity and took off immediately. After grabbing the offensive rebound with one hand, Wang Zhelin combined the ball with both hands in the air and slammed the ball into the basket. The Polish hammer under him was unlucky, and his whole body was overturned to the ground by this sudden force. "Give it up, stupid Poles, you have no chance of victory," Wang Zhelin said coldly, no longer looking at the Polish hammer that fell on the ground, and walked quickly towards the center of the field. If he doesn't walk faster, he will most likely be beaten. The scene was like a time stop, and after being stuck for a few seconds, the Polish fans screamed, "Murder! It's murder! Referee, get this executioner out of bounds." Gobert, a man who can start in the NBA and can average 15 points and 10 rebounds per game, is undoubtedly the first player in Polish basketball. His status in the hearts of Polish fans is supreme, just like Yao Ming in China. The same status among fans. But now, the gods in their hearts have been knocked to the ground by an unknown soldier, which is unbearable for anyone. What should we do then? The three referees on the sidelines, look at me, I look at you, staring wide-eyed in embarrassment for a while. This is undoubtedly a good shot in terms of basketball rules and viewing, but fortunately, the Poles still had to ask for a face, and the whistle that he kept clenching in his mouth didn't blow in the end. Ouch. Actually, he has more sportsmanship than Dahan Mingwa, which is worthy of commendation. Then let you end this pain faster. The Polish men's basketball team lost as expected, and it was a fiasco. When the audience came down, China ended at 108-77 in Poland. Wang Zhelin scored a game-high 33 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Since Yao Ming's retirement, the Celestial men's basketball team has rarely won so heartily. But now Lu Wei and others looked at Wang Zhelin standing proudly on the court, and in a trance, they always felt that they saw the man who used to wear the red jersey number 13. It all seems like a dream. Really cool. Brother Yao, I won't play tomorrow's warm-up match. I'm afraid that the Polish fans will rush to the court to kill me if I continue to play. Although Wang Zhelin's words were exaggerated, Yao Ming looked at a small number of red-eyed fans on the sidelines who had already regarded Wang Zhelin as his father's enemy, and nodded silently. Wang Zhelin did this not because he was really afraid of being beaten. In fact, he wanted to see the strength of the national team without his own, so that he could predict the strength of his opponents in the next Olympic Games in advance. You've fought so hard too, anyway, this is someone else's territory, so you have to save face anyway. Having said that, Yi Jianlian's face is still full of excitement. Since Yao Ming retired, he has planned to deal with the worst situation. In this game, Yi Jianlian didn't make a lot of shots, but he still made 6 of 11 shots, including 2 of 3 points and 1 of 1, and efficiently scored an economical double-double of 11 points and 10 rebounds. Okay, brother alien, you have been laughing all the time, but you haven't stopped, so where are you pretending to be? Wang Zhelin pretended to be disdainful. Ha ha ha, this time, Yi Jianlian didn't answer any more, he just kept smirking, thinking about how he and Wang Zhelin would continue the 2008 golden generation in the international arena in the next few years. The next day, Wang Zhelin really didn't play, but the men's basketball team still won, but it was a little thrilling. In this game, the 3 men's basketball team scored in double figures. The core Yi Jianlian scored 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists and 3 steals. Chen Jianghua scored 14 points, 4 rebounds and 3 steals. Wang Zhizhi scored 10 points. In addition, Sun Yu, who came off the bench, scored 8 points and 3 assists, and Lu Wei scored 5 points and 2 rebounds. With 9.5 seconds left in the game, the two sides were tied at 74-74. It was still relying on veteran Lu Wei to make one of 2 free throws at the free throw line to overtake by 1 point. At the last moment, the Polish men's basketball team served from the baseline, but Zhou Peng's fatal steal completely buried the hope of victory. In the end, the Chinese men's basketball team defeated Poland 75-74. That night, the men's basketball coach Hua Deng quietly sneaked into Yao Ming's room and seemed to be talking about something. Yao, I didn't expect King to be so important to this men's basketball team. Without him, it would be like a different team. Without Wang Zhelin's celestial men's basketball team, it would be so difficult to play against Poland, which failed to get the Olympic tickets. This was something Deng Hua never expected. He couldn't help but worry about the upcoming Olympic events. Alas, in fact, it's also my fault for retiring too hastily, which made the UAE and the others less time to grow up for several years. Yao Ming is also very dissatisfied with the performance of the men's basketball team today, thinking that Poland was when he was still there, but in the end he still blamed some of the blame on himself. Fortunately, Your country sent a Wang Zhelin in time to inherit your position, otherwise the road for the Chinese men's basketball team would be narrowed. Yeah, we need him so much. On July 22, 2012, after Wang Zhelin followed the men's basketball team to gather with the Celestial Sports delegation, the whole team went straight to London. This is the first time he has participated in the Olympic Games since his last life, and he can't help himself. The feeling of wearing the national flag awesome. Brother Zhelin, what was your first time participating in the Olympic Games? Are you nervous? Excited? Do you feel at a loss? After the Celestial Sports delegation arrived in London, they stayed in the local Olympic village. The excited Wang Zhelin, Yu reading www.yuukaongshu.com asked about Zhelin's first Olympic campaign for his country. If I remember correctly, the first Olympic Games Zhelin participated in was the Athens Olympic Games in 2004. It has been 8 years since then. I was also participating in the first Olympic Games in my life in Europe at the time. I didn't understand anything at that time, and I was very nervous, but fortunately I had Deo and the others with me. Seeing that the little brother was so interested, Zhelin happily told his past story. Since you've been to Europe, Brother Zhelin, why don't you take me around here? Anyway, there are still 5 days before the opening ceremony. That's okay. Looking at Wang Zhelin's anxious look, Zhelin also remembered all the intense curiosity he had when he first arrived in Europe, so he agreed. The so-called wandering is actually just wandering around in the Olympic village. After all, Zhelin, a shy person, is not familiar with this place, and he does not dare Wang Zhelin to run too far. However, this village is not a village. It is more like a city within a city than a village, with 2,818 apartments, about 17,000 athletes and officials from more than 200 countries and regions, and a large restaurant that can accommodate 5,000 people. From fruit to French fries, from all over the world to British favorites. Other services in the Olympic Village include cinemas, supermarkets, banks, post offices, internet cafes, hospitals, and a state-of-the-art fitness center, with 8,000 volunteers serving athletes. Most notably, organizers also plan to give out about 150,000 BYT to athletes. After all, it is normal for athletes to be energetic. Long live the understanding. Episode 48, The Little Sister-in-Law. At 4 o'clock on July 28, 2012, the opening ceremony of the London Olympic Games officially began. Under the night, the giant bell hanging in the main venue rang slowly, as if welcoming athletes from all over the world. The theme this time is Wonderful Island. It focuses on displaying the history, culture, and modern social customs of the British Isles. It must be admitted that being able to host the Olympic Games in a peaceful era is definitely an important symbol of the style of a great power. Since the capital of England, London, defeated Paris in 2005 to become the host city of the 30th Summer Olympics, the entire country and people have been making various preparations for this grand ceremony. Beginning in July 2005, no matter newspapers, radio, TV, or the internet, almost every day is bombarded with Olympic-related sports news. At such a critical moment, everyone and everything must make way for it. Wearing a sports uniform embroidered with the national flag, Wang Zhelin joined the phalanx with all the athletes of the national team. He was also very excited when the Olympic flame was lit again in London. As a member of the Celestial Sports delegation, Wang Zhelin was full of pride and excitement to be able to attend such a grand opening ceremony in person. Playing in the NBA is to realize the basketball dream in my heart. To play in the Olympics is to represent my motherland. The two feel really different. Now, Wang Zhelin is beginning to understand a little bit why Yao Ming was always recalled and Zhelin was able to withstand the ridicule and humiliation of countless people, dragging the Celestial men's basketball team for more than 10 years. Only after a person has reached a certain height in his own field will he deeply understand, the original word, country, is sometimes really more important than everything else. Wang Zhelin excitedly looked at Zhelin, who was wearing a red suit and white trousers, holding a 5-star red flag and walking in front of the Chinese sports delegation. At this moment, he was extremely proud. The men's basketball schedule of this Olympic Games is not like the one in 2008 with a few days of buffer time. This time, the opening ceremony will be held on the 28th, and the men's basketball team will be on the 29th. Compared with 4 years ago, the strength of the Spanish men's basketball team is even stronger. The inside has NBA stars such as the Gasol brothers and 28 cards, and there are also NBA-level players such as Navarro, Fernandez, and Calderon on the outside. Looking at the Olympic men's basketball battlefield, the Spanish men's basketball team in the Golden Age is still the most powerful team to challenge the Dream 10 of the United States. In contrast, the strength of the Chinese men's basketball team after 4 years declined instead of rising. In the past 4 years, China has not only lost Yao Ming, but also the core of the men's basketball team. Wang Zhelin is 35 years old. He is still powerful on the offensive end but weak on the defensive end. The new generation core Wang Zhelin has been completely reduced to a bench player in the NBA. Although the celestial men's basketball team in the No Yao era has won the championship in the Guangzhou Asian Games and the Wuhan Asian Championships, the danger of the process has made fans afraid. As for the hottest newcomer, Wang Zhelin. Sorry, Wang Zhelin was the 6th overall pick and you, Wang Zhelin, were only 8th, can you count on it? Therefore, after the gorgeous opening ceremony, Wang Zhelin could clearly feel that the teammates around him became nervous that night. Although Yao Ming, head coach Deng Huada and others have already said that the battle with Spain is mainly about training troops, the main opponents of the men's basketball team are the kangaroo country and the host England. The Chinese men's basketball team, which is divided into Group B, will play against Spain, Russia, the kangaroo country, Brazil and the host British team successively. If you want to qualify for the group, you must defeat the last 2 relatively weak kangaroos and the United Kingdom. This is also the target set by the top for the Chinese men's basketball team, to reach the top 8. However, the fact is that the famous coach Gong Luming said frankly before the game, it is difficult for the men's basketball team to enter the top 8 this time, and the top 10 is normal. In this regard, all the players still hold a sigh of relief. They are also fighting for the country, who would not want to win in their hearts. On the evening of the 29th, the celestial men's basketball team faced the call to win the championship in the first Olympic Games, second only to the popular Spanish men's basketball team of the American Dream Team 10. The starters of the celestial men's basketball team this time are Wang Zhelin, Wang Zhelin, Zhu Fengyu, Wang Shipeng and Liu Wei. Wang Zhelin stood on the field and glanced at the opponent's players, Pau Gasol in 96, Marc Gasol in 92, Fernandez in 76, Calderon in 78, Liramiria in 75, and sitting 80 plus Boss Ibaka on the bench. Is this still playing like this? The lineup of the Spanish men's basketball team made Wang Zhelin's mouth dry. Is this the golden generation of Spain who only lost 7 points to the US in the final? He remembers that in his previous life, Wang Zhelin faced such a powerful Spanish team and led the celestial men's basketball team to defeat in 3 quarters without being favored by everyone. He even scored 30 points and 12 rebounds. 2 large pairs. Big brother is big brother. Hello viewers, this is the Celestial Sports Channel. We are broadcasting the first game of the London Olympics men's basketball game. The 2 sides of the game are the Chinese men's basketball team and the Spanish men's basketball team. Let's take a look at the lineup of both sides. While guidance Zhang and teacher Yu Jiao were explaining, the players of the 2 teams had all arrived near the middle circle. The 2 players on the jump ball now are young Chinese teenager Wang Zhelin and the Spanish team's NBA All-Star center Marc Gasol. Wang Zhelin is doing a great job and won the first ball for the Chinese men's basketball team. After Wang Zhelin jumped to win Xiaojia, the ball was in Liu Wei's hands. Liu Wei followed the tactical instructions before the game and consciously lowered the rhythm to play positional battles. Under the FIBA rule of not defending 3 seconds, the bonus for the inside line is too much. When the big and small Gasol was in the inner lane, it was just 2 big white bears, plus another Wang Zhelin who was taller and bigger than them. The entire penalty area was already crowded. Beyond the 3-point line, Liu Wei passed the ball to Zhu Fengyu on the right, and then started running around the half-court without the ball. As soon as Zhu Fengyu received the ball, Fernandez stared at her. Zhu Ba and Wang Qi, as Chinese national players who have been competing in the international arena for many years, have an excellent 3-pointer ability, which makes all opponents dare not relax easily. Since there is no chance, Zhu Fengyu will not mess around. After carefully controlling the ball twice, he quickly handed it over to Wang Zhelin, who is on the right. Seeing that Wang Zhelin had a chance to play singles, Wang Zhelin quickly withdrew and successfully attracted Dejia. First, because Wang Zhelin does have a threat of long-range shooting ability. Second, Dejia believes that his younger brother definitely has the ability to defend against any insider in the international arena. The lower body strength of and the upper body strength of 84 are already a first-class level in the NBA insider, but it's a pity that he met Wang Zhelin who inherited the power of sharks. Wang Zhelin was blocked by Xiaojia the moment he received the ball, but he didn't stop at all, and he directly chiseled in hard. Whirring. Bang bang. Bang bang. The battle of the inside players is destined to be full of male hormones, and the sound of heavy breathing and muscle collision shocked everyone's hearts. An even more unbelievable scene happened. The Chinese teenager Wang Zhelin forced the All-Star center behind him to retreat step by step. This kid's power is actually. In addition to being surprised, after Xiaojia leaned against Wang Zhelin, he clearly felt that the latter's elbow never left his chest. Whenever Wang Zhelin exerted his strength, his elbows would inadvertently rub against Xiao Jia's. These actions are normal behaviors for the audience and the referee next to them, but Xiao Jia has a bitterness in his heart that he can't express. Wang Zhelin's performance reminded Xiao Jia of his teammate Black Bear Zach Randolph. Is this kid really a 19-year-old boy? Where did he learn this old-school player's unique skills? Finally, Wang Zhelin came to the 3-second zone. The dunk has been triggered. First, he turned around quickly and pushed Xiao Jia to the side, and after reaching the basket, he took off and lifted his feet naturally. Without giving Xiao Jia a chance to adjust his position, he directly dunked the opponent from the front. Ah. After finishing the separation, Wang Zhelin couldn't help roaring at Xiao Jia. Going to Sanjiang. Going to Sanjiang. Going to Sanjiang. The important thing is said 3 times. I, a newcomer to the streets, actually got the opportunity of Sanjiang. To be honest, I was quite bald. This is my second novel. Compared with the first one, it's a big difference. I have a lot of emotions and I don't know where to start. After receiving the news yesterday, I was excited for a day, and even only wrote 1 book. There are more than 1,000 words. Actually, I went to play basketball with my roommate, relax properly, and I hope everyone will take care of it. Cough cough. First of all, I would like to thank the most handsome Lei Xiaoda from China Literature Group, who gave Jin Zai the opportunity to recommend Sanjiang. Thanks. Grateful. Grateful. At the same time, I am also very grateful to all the book friends who supported Jin Zai. The achievements of this book are inseparable from everyone's efforts. Thank you for your support. Grateful. 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 Starting tomorrow, April 4th at 1400 hours, the 1-week Sanjiang recommendation will arrive. After Sanjiang ends the strong push for another week, it will be almost the time to launch. This is the only sports competition article in Sanjiang in this issue. I hope book friends can give more support. During Sanjiang, I hope you will click and vote more. As for the monthly pass, although we desire it, we do not demand it. If you want to vote, you can vote. It doesn't matter if you don't vote, it's up to everyone's wishes. After Sanjiang Plus is strongly promoted, it will be on the shelves. The specific content will be mentioned in the testimonials, so I will briefly talk about it here. It's time to stand up again. On the first day on the shelves, as long as it doesn't get chopped, it will explode. Even if we are a handicapped party, this opening must be grabbed. After all, everyone in China hopes that they can grab a good fortune, and then they will have good luck in the future. In addition, there will definitely be some monthly passes and rewards for everyone. These are counted in the backstage of the writer's assistant, and they will be given back to everyone in the form of explosive updates on the day they are released. In the blink of an eye, Jin Zai is already 22, and it has been almost a year since he broke into the online literature circle. At first, I was thinking of earning a little living expenses in my spare time in college. Street. In this regard, I really appreciate everyone's support. Finally, I would like to recommend the works of a few friends who can chat in the sports novel author group. First of all, there is a new book just opened by the big guy. There is a ball, basketball, the reopening of Deo. The reason why Jin Zai stepped into the online literature circle and likes to write about possessive basketball articles is not only because of the boredom at home last year due to the epidemic, but also inspired by this boss. In addition, there is also the superstar next door of Whisper, Bishop of the Abyss by Third Master T, Basketball Boulder by Bulldozer Under the Basket, Am I Proud by Uncle Wang, Sign In to the NBA Stadium, Create an Invincible Striker by Declining Glory, I Can Really Throw In by Xiaoxiang Xiaosheng.